So you know my nephew Carl, right? Have you ever met him?
Oh yeah, oh, of course, yeah.
Okay. So he's coming over here pretty soon.
Oh, good.
I told him he lived up the road from me here, so I'm sure he'll want to come up and visit you.
Oh, right on.
His wife is getting out of the army.
Okay.
They were over in Seoul, Korea, and they I don't know what happened. I didn't get a chance. I talked to him yesterday today, but I don't know what the deal was. Why she ended up getting out? She was going to stay there for 20 years and then retire. But she's going to finish her retirement as a reserve. So they're coming back to the States. In fact, they already left Korea. They already packed all their stuff. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still. Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just
you
trying
weren't
to make
moving,
sure.
so I was
No, we're good. Sorry, we're good.
They packed all their stuff and sent it back to the States. And she's from Nairobi, Kenya.
Oh, right on.
So anyway, he called me yesterday and today. I called him from Nairobi. So talking to him about coming over here and hanging out at the farm for a little while. They're going to do a U.S. tour.
Cool.
Because they've been for a while. So they've got a truck and a travel trailer like my grandfather used to. And jump in the camper and take a lap around the U.S. to see what's going on. And they said they're mapping out their stops. So I told them for sure here in Cincinnati, and I told them you're just up the road there in South Bend,
Yep.
not South Bend,
Fort Wayne,
Fort
enough, yeah.
Wayne. That's all Indy.
Yeah,
Indianapolis. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess I'd let the cat out of the bag too. Keith might be moving up your way too in the summertime.
Yeah, no, that's what we're negotiating with. Not that, yeah, we're negotiating with Uncle Keith and Aunt Joy we're gonna work with them to have an addition, an apartment built on our place. So hopefully, yeah, they're excited about it. I think they really want to be up here.
Okay.
So
good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good move for him. Okay, so we are definitely back live here. Sorry, this is our first live stream. We were back. We were recording. We were live streaming. We were doing the whole thing. And so anyway, so I guess what my point was in the last bit that we did was, make me a deal. All right. Okay. So maybe even a border wall is ridiculous, but say, hey, instead of a border wall, here's a way better way to secure our borders than this. Again, I'm a big fan of an author of the Wall Street Journal and the City Journal called Jason Riley. He's a black man. He wrote a book called Please Stop Helping Us, which I love because he really talks about how he feels the federal government has actually hindered the advancement of the black community and that sort of thing. He also wrote a book about Let Them Come. And he really talked about how, immigration from the southern border is not a bad thing. We should encourage that. We should figure out a way that we can bring in folks that want to work. And again, anecdotal as it is, my experience has been with Hispanic guys I've worked with. I've got a bunch of Hispanic guys that are my truck driving buddies. Those guys are hard friggin' core. Those guys work. They want to work. That's all they care about, man. And that's the thing is, maybe told you about this dairy farm I worked on in upstate New York. I mean, these guys not only came across the border illegally, but they went all the way up to upstate New York to work on this dairy farm. I mean, these guys, I mean, they're motivated.
And they competed against all the kids in your neighborhood to get those jobs.
100%, yeah, right. So I mean, why don't we want those kind of ambitious people in our country? We 100% do. So let's talk about how to bring those kind of folks in legally. And again, I'm very much for another Ellis Island situation where, hey, you want to come to America? Here's where you come. You come right here. It's going to take some time. There's going to be some processing. There's going to be some tests. There's going to be this and that and the other thing. But at the end of the day, we're going to make you Americans. and your life's going to be
But
better.
even whenever we go to Canada, whenever I went to Canada the first time, I went up there on business to actually work. I went to Ontario, and they asked me what I was going to do, and I was honest with them. I told them what I was going to do. They said, "Well, you're going to have to get a work permit." Okay. So I filled out the paperwork, and I got my work permit while I was there. Because I was driving across the border at the time, right? And there was never any qualms about it. Why can't we have a system like that where somebody coming from any one of our borders, whether it's north border, south border, or an airplane, coming into an international terminal, if they're coming in as a work permit, or they're coming in for visit friends. Most people, everybody has to get here anyway. So go ahead and work permit. Go ahead and make them welcome. And I like your Ellis Island idea, but I wanted to add something else to the DACA thing. I don't think I picked up with the previous thing. You kind of wanted to guarantee that if we granted DACA, that it wouldn't happen again in 20 years. And I think we have to look at it a different way. I think we need to say that it's going to continue to happen. It's always going to happen. And we always need to take care of these kids, no matter if it's this generation or the next generation. So we need to pass legislation so they're always taken care of. So the kids get brought here when they're 5, and okay, they've got these parents that brought them here, and they turn 18. They can sign up for DACA. DACA is just part of our normal immigration system. They can sign up for DACA, prove they've been there, they've gone through grade school, gone through high school, all the other stuff, right? And they can be a DACA kid and they have citizenship, just like a natural born a baby born in the United States. Okay. So there's a path there, and let's not hold them as hostages anymore. Let's just make that as part of our immigration system, and then we can go through a lot of the other your Ellis Island idea. That way, because you're never going to guarantee it's not going to happen again. And then you're going to have these kids in limbo, and they're so just make it part of the system.
Yeah, well, no. But that's the thing that, again, if those who are securing our border are telling us, okay, a wall is so if we have this wall, we have this great beautiful wall. The beautiful wall that Mexico's gonna. Okay, if we're gonna have that, then we have this one gate where everybody comes through, and we have this great Ellis Island. That's what I think is going to prevent us from having a situation, that type of idea. And again, I'm not an expert on this.
No, I get you, and I like that. I really like that idea. But what I'm saying is that whether it's a small percentage or a large percentage, I don't think anybody try to go across the desert for days with a gallon of water and pumping a couple kids on their back, trying to cross a border that they could just go to an island and sign up to get in with one or two different, couple options, right?
Yeah. So and that's why
water makes sense.
Right, and that's the hope that that we get into a situation where we don't have DACA kids. I mean that's not good. It's not good.
But you're always going to have somebody. You're always going to have somebody screw it up. So
you're going to have somebody
just make it part of the immigration system.
Well, no, I would disagree with that. I would say, okay, we have given you ample opportunity to come to this country legally. We have said, hey, we want you here. We like your work ethic. Here's there's the wall.
Didn't register when I came through the border. Don't take it from my kids.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you've got but I think that's where my concerns are, is that we have people come here for the right reasons, and if we have people coming here for the right reasons, and we give them and that's the thing is where I think is lacking. That we give them the proper portal to come through. There's no reason why we should have DACA kids anymore in the future.
No, they should do it down to nothing.
Right,
I agree.
Right. So,
but if you do have I want to make sure we have legislation to handle those 20 years from now, 40 years from now, whatever it is. Just make sure our immigration plan is all encompassing for these situations that are on the rise.
Yeah, but I think that if we go to those extents and we spend the money to provide that portal, that if you still bring your kids here illegally, that okay, hey, we went to these extremes to make sure that you could come here, bring your kids here legally. We expedited the process, everything else, but yet you still chose to go around our laws. Then we say no, it's just not going to happen.
So in that case, what I should do is if I'm somewhere else, I should log on to your portal. And before you even get in the caravan, I'll go ahead and log on to the portal and make sure that you know I'm coming. That way, I'm not a big surprise when I show up. And then when I do walk 3,000 or 4,000 miles from someplace else, then I show up there. You already know I'm coming. Show you my ID, and we're already on the road. We already got things figured out.
Well,
especially if I got right. I have family that's already here. You know, so it means I've got a kind of a safe haven. I've got support from other family members. I'm gonna melt into that part of that melting pot society. All that makes a difference. They whenever I filled out my immigration paperwork for Canada, they want to know about what your familial relationships are. So they want to know if you have a support system. You can speak the language. I had to go take an English test to do my immigration for Canada, and I was like. It was like I was the only white guy in the testing thing, and they asked me if I was in the wrong place when I got there. But I still had to take the test, right? It's funny when I made out my paperwork, and we were at the embassy. We were overseas. We were in China, and I when I made out the paperwork, and I went to my embassy appointment at the Canadian embassy, and they're trying to my wife is Canadian. She's got a Canadian passport. So she's petitioning for me, but. They just kept looking at me like I was the petitioner. No, I'm the petition. So anyway, it was quite awkward there for a while till we get all that sorted out. But anyway, always thinking that you're bringing somebody else. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think that the posture of us as Americans should be to say, hey, if you want to come to our country for a chance. We're wide open and we're welcome. We got very pro immigration. And that might in some ways break with my party, but I'm pro legal immigration because of for various reasons. A country has to have borders. Every other country has their borders. We should have our borders, and if we want to have America to continue to be a place where people want to be, that's what we have to do. You have to come here legally. So I am very pro immigration. I think we should open it up again. I think that's a major part of the problem. But that's again. Come on.
So what I'm hearing you saying when people get to the border, then they catch and release and all that. You're pro for all this stuff, even catch and release, as long as it's done legally. Nope. I can hear you. I can hear you and see you, but you can't hear me.
I'm having. Well, anyway.
Say what I said a second ago. You like legal, right?
Yes.
Right? Legal asylum, all that kind of stuff. So when people show up at the border, you're okay with catch and release and all that kind of stuff. So that way, people get here, they get to court. As long as they have a place to be. Because most people that come to the United States and they end up in that situation do return to court and go to court because they actually do want the asylum. It's not like they're just coming in, we give catch and release, and they run away someplace. There are a few that do that. I get that. But then you would be okay with that system that we had before Trump did.
I think the catch and release is a bad idea. I think that before you are released into the interior of our country, that you should be properly given asylum or citizenship or visa or green card or something of that nature. That's
visitors visa.
Something.
Could have a visitor.
Yeah. I mean, and I agree that so at both extremes you've got catch and release where okay, we bring these people in, they're seeking asylum, and they're supposed to come back for a court date, and instead of holding them at the border, like we would at an Ellis Island type situation where they're processed and that sort of thing, we just say, okay, you're released, and then you're going to have your court date, and we hope you come back. Now we can dispute on whether or not I'm not sure what the statistics are of the return rate on that sort of thing for a court date, but I think all of that should be expedited. That it should be bang bang bang. I mean, we used to do it at Ellis Island.
Some about the court thing is all about discovery. You have to the right paperwork with them. Get the right paperwork. Send home for it. That's why I like the idea of having maybe even electronic portal. Your Ellis Island portal. So that way they can do it online, and they'll already get there with the care of it. That'd be nice. The problem is we don't have a system like that. If you log on NIL, I challenge you. You need to log on and see what it takes to get through the immigration system here in the United States.
It's very difficult.
I've been through it with my wife, so I know.
Well, and that's a piece where I think you and I could agree that it should be much easier to immigrate to the United States legally, much easier.
Yep.
And I think that's something that former President Trump could have emphasized a lot more. And said, okay, and that's where, again, I'm getting back to this compromise idea. Where do we compromise? Okay. Hey, we like immigrants. We're pro immigration. I'm for that. We want people to come to this country and learn how to, because they see it as an opportunity for prosperity and freedom. Okay.
Well, we want them to come and install solar panels.
What? Yeah, 100. Well, yeah. I mean, if we figure out that solar panels are going to be the savior of the future, fantastic. We need people to. But the problem is that there's so much bureaucracy and forms and this and that and the other thing. It shouldn't be fees, right? It shouldn't be that way. Because for a number of reasons. Because that puts the power in the hands of a very few elite folks. Not discounting the cartels who are like, oh, if you're in Mexico or you're in South America, you want to be an American citizen, then if you go through us, we can help you do that because the process is very complicated and expensive, and we can walk you through all that. We don't want those people benefiting from immigration.
Right.
We want people who want to come here and enjoy our freedom and be prosperous 100%.
Yep.
So that's the kind of compromises that's got to go on. And so
we got a better system. So you should log on their website and see what it costs. What you have to go through. If you
no, it's not. It's not good.
Whatever.
We do. I will agree. We do need comprehensive immigration reform.
Yep.
So if we're going to talk about that, then we've got to take it, and that's the fear of the pubs, is that we're going to go through the same thing we went through during the Reagan administration, where we said, okay, we're going to grant amnesty, and then going forward, we're going to, we're going to make sure this doesn't happen again.
So it's never going to be like that. That's why I'm telling you. You can't make a law that something's never going to happen. What you need to do is make a law, make the legislation, and just accept that there's going to be a flow of docket kits. The flows you want to bring the flow down to nothing, but you're going to have to have a flow. The same way with illegal aliens. You're going to have a flow of people that are going to come here. They're probably going to jump the border and not go through real asylum. So how do you take care of those people? Do you get rid of them?
Yep,
go back to
you get rid of them.
So So you hear what I'm saying? You have to have a way to take care of them, and that's what comprehensive immigration is. Is that you understand that these things happen because it's all human nature. It's all about
and again, if we relax that's what I'm talking about. Relax the bureaucracy that you have to go through to immigrate to our country. We relax that in a very, very serious way, and we put together this Ellis Island idea. Then if you're here illegally, you're going to get deported. Period. End of story. I don't care if you're 2 or 200. That's it. If you're here illegally, sorry. I mean, yeah, we feel bad for you. We're sorry your parents brought you here illegally, but you're out. We're deporting you.
Yeah, so that's what we disagree. I think we need to have legislation that looks forward rather than just looks at a milepost or a place in time. It needs to continue to look forward in how we're going to treat the people, and they may have
I'm not suggesting
deportation.
Right, I'm not suggesting that we would treat anybody inhumanely. What I'm saying is
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, like the DACA kids, you may have DACA kids for the next 100 years, and they're going to have some treatment somehow.
Right, but that's the kind of legislation. If we're going to come up with comprehensive immigration reform, that's the kind of legislation we have to come up with. Say that if we have DACA kids, then DACA kids are going to get deported in the future. Period. End of story. Full stop.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Yeah, but what you're proposing, then what you're proposing is completely open borders with no checks and balances on anything. So you might as well just.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that when you write the rules, you write the rules for the future. You don't write the rules for today.
No,
you write the rules looking ahead.
No, yeah, but you're suggesting that if so we have that we relax our rules on immigration. We relax the bureaucracy on it. Folks that are just trying to come here to live a better life. Those are the folks we want in here, because they've proven time and time again to be great citizens. Right. We want them here. All right.
Sure.
However, when we relax those rules and we increase our border security, if you violate those rules in the future, then you're out. You're out. We're going to deport you. Period. End of story.
Okay.
No question about it. And otherwise, what you're talking about is, okay, forget it. Let's not have the Ellis Island thing. Let's not have the border wall. Let's abolish ICE. Get rid of all that stuff. Just let people come in here however they want.
What I'm saying is you can't have all this hardline stuff like that. That's where the conservative has got to be a hard line. You can't cross this line. So I'm going to say that a guy comes here from Iceland and he overstays his visitor visa.
Yep, deport him. Yeah, if we've got all of these wide open immigration rules and somebody does that, you're deported.
So let's say this comes from Iceland. He overstays. He's got two small children with him, and they end up staying for 20 years. Now the kids are in university. Do we deport all of them?
Yep.
Why would we want to deport the kids?
Yep. Well, I'm sorry. We have a very liberal immigration policy here. We have a way you can get in.
It's already been proven doesn't work. The Reagan amnesty thing didn't work.
No, the Reagan amnesty thing didn't work. The Reagan amnesty thing didn't work because it wasn't followed up with proper border policy, with proper immigration policy. I think we've been too restrictive on immigration, so we loosen up on that.
Quotas and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Some countries like Iceland, they don't use their quota. But Mexico has already used their quota. They're getting in line in Mexico 40 years before you'd ever be seen. If you just wanted to immigrate from Mexico, because there's that many people here that have already immigrated. That many people in line. If you're in Iceland, if you're Icelandic, then you could probably get in line and probably get to see an officer pretty quick with our current system.
Yeah,
we need to push that stuff. Let the people that want to come here. No matter which country. Get rid of the quota system, all that.
Yeah.
And plan,
well, so
and plan,
yeah, so I am very much open to a more liberal immigration policy. What I'm not open to is illegal immigration. And so so that's the deal. So Senator Herring, that I'm making with you is
I think we agree on this.
Let's liberalize the immigration policy. Let's take the bureaucracy out of it. However, going forward, if you don't screw with us. If you're coming here illegally, then no, you're out.
But you're talking about stuff that aren't even born yet, and you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
And that's a bummer. But that's a bummer. But at the same time, whose fault is that? We've got a very liberal. We've got the most. In fact, right as it stands now, we probably have one of the most liberal immigration policies in the world. Getting into the United States it's probably easier to get in the United States legally than it is anywhere else.
You think so? You think so?
Yeah. When if I tried to immigrate to Mexico?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
So, but the point being, let's Senator Herring, let's make the United States immigration policy the most liberal immigration policy in the world. You name your terms. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to do an Ellis Island here. We're going to do Ellis Island there. Let's do it. Let's bring them in. Let them come. I agree with that 100%. But you violate our immigration policy, as liberal as it is, and you subject your children to that. Sorry, that's on you. You screwed up. Yeah. You brought your children here.
I get you.
So
those kids end up staying here until they grow up. It's not really on them. It's
on their parents. That's right.
They're not being around. They'll still be suffering the circumstances.
Right.
You know what? DACA kids didn't even know they were illegal.
Yeah.
They grew up their whole life and didn't even know they were illegal.
Right. Well, and that's the thing.
And that's probably a good thing because it's not something you want to flaw if you are illegal or your family's illegal. But anyway, a lot of kids grew up that way, and then they realized whenever they were applying for a Pell Grant or something like that, nobody's got any information whatever to fill out the form even because they've been living there their whole life and they're illegal.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. No, and that sucks for the kids, but that is not on United States immigration policy.
No, it's not. But it's not the kid that I want to kick out.
No, I know. I hear you, but short of saying, okay, well, we've got this liberal immigration policy we've put in place, but we're just going to still allow people to come here illegally.
But you're kicking the can down the road because 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when we have the same situation, then those kids are going to be there. They're have to be able to have the. Well, I think things are going to change in the next 10 to 20 years anyway about services, what we expect out of government, and all that stuff. And we're going to have it's not going to be as easy to be as it is right now. Not that it is, but I think it was easy. It was a lot easier before. But as we're more digitized, it makes it more and more difficult to be illegal. So,
yeah. Well, and that's that's where we again, not that we wouldn't have compassion on those children, and sympathize with their situation. However, I'm still convinced that if we secured our borders and liberalized our immigration policy, we wouldn't be talking about this. There wouldn't be any documents.
You know how we can do it? If we put a chip in everybody, and we have a chip reader at the door, Walmarts and stuff, and if somebody doesn't have a chip, the alarm goes off.
Negative. No, we can
find those being kept track of.
Nah,
right?
You don't. No,
right?
That's not what I'm advocating.
No,
for.
That's why I'm proposing. I'm proposing.
I would say no. Everybody gets it. I would say no. I'd say we'd have to do the hard work of again. We did it with Ellis Island. We should do it again. We should do it again.
It was a different time. Back then.
It was a different time back then, but at the same time,
I like the idea of Ellis. But the Ellis Islands, all they did was write through, walk through, sign their name, and they checked to see if they had whatever disease they were looking for, right? Tuberculosis and like leprosy. There was a couple of diseases they wouldn't let in. Other than that. You walked right through. There was never any background checks. They didn't even know if it was really your name or not. In fact, a lot of people changed their name.
Yeah, no, and again, I'm not sure I would be in line with my Republican constituency to say this, but I, as Senator Garnett, would be very much for a very liberalized, very easy way for you to come into if you want to come into this country and you want to enjoy the benefits, the prosperity and the freedom of the United States of America. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to come in here. I think it's too hard to get in the United States. I want to secure the borders like hardcore. I don't want anybody sneaking around the system, but I also want the system to be to be a situation where, just like you're saying, you just walk in, they check you for a couple things, and hey, welcome to the United States. Good luck.
Everybody like the chip. I like the chip idea.
I don't like the chip idea. That sounds scary to me. But anyway, so I guess what I'm hoping for with Biden is some of that, just some of that. Hey, an olive branch. I mean, I personally feel like
I think he's putting it out. You're not receiving. But I think he's putting it out.
Well, no, but that's the thing is, I'm not receiving it. But I'm a fair guy. If he put something out there that I thought, hey, this is really reaching out to me, to say that hey, we and it's not just words. That we care about the 75 million of you who voted for Trump, who are Senator Cruz supporters. If I felt like some of that was going on, I'd be like, I would recognize that.
You know what? I'll send Joe. I'll send Joe. See if he can do that. See if he can do that.
I would appreciate that because right. Because I really every executive order he's signed so far has just pissed me off. It's been like,
oh man. You know
everyone.
what? During the executive orders, I've got a list of them.
Okay.
Look at that.
Name me one executive order that I would be happy about.
Ensuring the future is made in all of America all of American workers.
What executive order is that?
It's number 14005 about making sure that the content items that say made in America are actually made in America. They're moving up the content. How much? Right now they're kind of skirting the issue. People are saying it's made in America. Maybe it's only assembled parts, made all over the world. But he's trying to make it more made in America than even Trump.
Okay. All right. So you wrote an executive order that restricts the Made in America tag. So far, that's not warming the cockles of my heart too much. That's nice, but
okay. Worker health and safety. The safety and international domestic travel. He wants to everybody have COVID tests before they show up. 3 days within 3 days before they show up. The U.S. international port. No, doesn't do anything for you. That's right. You're an COVID guy. You don't like wearing masks. I forgot. Okay. I wear double masks now.
So I've heard the double masks or the triple mask is actually the best way to go. That way you're 100% over 100%.
Well, you're going over the top. The double mask is in stock. Okay. Yeah. Equitable pandemic, future high consequence, threats. Anyway, he's got a whole bunch of them.
I know.
I'll send you the link. So you can review.
I'll review them, but I'm genuinely familiar with most of them and know the major ones. Which so far, this whole idea of unity and democracy, unity is. Just don't speak against us, and you'll be fine. I've got.
How about if over the next couple of weeks we work through the Democratic platform? Just take a section two at a time. Because I think things are going to be. I think things are going to be quiet for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. Because we got to get out to our 100 days, 100,000 shots, all that kind of stuff. But I think he's probably about done with executive orders for a while. He might have onesie twosie stuff going on. He's hit all the main ones already. So let's see if we can get through the Democratic platform. See what you like and what you don't.
Yeah, no, that'd be a good idea. That would be, because again, I hope I'm at least demonstrating that I'm like, hey, call it quid pro quo or whatever else. I hope I'm demonstrating them like, hey, you guys want this, we want this. Let's and again. Let's talk about the ramifications and that sort of thing. But if I was Senator Cruz in Washington, that's how I'd be approaching things. Is okay, right. you guys want this, we want this. Can we do it?
Right.
And.
Right. Well, the Republicans are kind of weird like that. Trump really fit into. He wants the quid pro quos, or else he wants a zero-sum game. I win, you lose. There's no in between. There's no wins. It's always I win. It's always I win. You lose. It's always. What do you give me? What do you give me for what I give you? I'm going to make sure. Win on this situation. And that's kind of the way Republican people look. That's why he got rid of all the multilateral treaties and things, because he wanted to negotiate better treaties with individual countries versus trying like the Pacific. What was it? Partnership or whatever it was. He got out of that immediately. Imagine we're going to. Well, we're not going to get a chance. We're not going to get a chance to get back into that. That's already going another direction. But anyway. I just looked up the Republican platform, and what I'm surprised is Republican 2020. They got some opinions about things, but they don't have anything from the Republican Party. So I'm a little, This is like this one from the New York Times. Why the GOP punted on a new party platform for 2020? Why didn't they even post anything? Why didn't they tell their constituents what they want to do?
Because the Republican platform has largely remained the same since its inception.
Oh.
And so right. So
maybe they had one in 16. Is what you're saying?
I don't know when the last time they made any changes to the Republican Party platform. I'd have to go look that up. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been the same for a long time. That's why they call us conservatives. We don't change things very often.
But the rest of the world has moved on.
Yeah, well, but that's again where you have a fundamental disagreement in political philosophy is that you don't change things unless you've got a really damn good reason to change it, and you've got overwhelming support from all sides on changing something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Whereas the progressive platform is let's start changing a bunch of things just as quickly.
Let's do what's best for the country.
Well, no, that's not. I think the Republicans want to do what's best for the country as well. However, that what they think is best for the country is to keep things the way they have been for a while, because
I'm not going back to horse and buggy.
No, but at the same time,
I'm not even going back to gas cars. I like my electric car.
Okay, so and I like my diesel truck. I like my diesel truck. I don't want an electric truck.
Yeah.
So
you won't have. But anyway.
But the point being is until we have lost the thread of trying to persuade others of our position, and we're just forcing it down the throats of other people.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think that you define your position.
No,
because you don't have an actual written definition of your position.
Okay,
and that's what.
Well, okay, so all right, well, I think we do, but let me just sum that. Let me sum up the Republican platform.
Okay.
For all eternity. You and I are walking in the forest, and we come across an old wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's this rock wall. Looks like old. You and I bought this piece of property.
Sure.
We're walking.
Sure.
And we see this huge wall. About 8 foot high, made of stone. It goes on forever. Mm-hmm. And we're like, why is this here? We just bought this piece of property. We don't, what do we need this wall for? And the progressive position is let's just tear it down. Don't worry about it.
Get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way.
My
Yep. Don't worry about what the wall was put in place for. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The Republican position is, let's find out what this wall was put in place for. Maybe it was for no purpose, and it does need to be torn down. We just need to tear it down.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for it anymore in this day and time. We just need to get rid of it. All right.
Right.
But before we do, let's find out why this wall was put in place. All right. Because we might come to find out that this wall was put in place because there's 6 foot giants on the other side of that wall that will come and eat us while we're still living, just rip our guts out and kill us.
Zombie apocalypse.
Okay, right. So that's how conservatives think. They don't think
Okay.
We don't. Yeah. Here. This looks like a useless wall, stone wall, 6 foot high. In this day and time, what do we need that for? Tear it down. Conservatives think, wait a second, let's find out why this wall is put in place before we do something that might destroy us all. And so before you start tearing down stuff, before you start making changes, let's find out why it is that we have that wall up. Let's find, so that's, so
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna send you a link to the Democratic platform. I'd like you to send me a link to the Republican, even if it's an old that you think is still valid or whatever. So that way we can compare. I think we should compare and contrast some of the issues. And I think that'll make good discussion. We'll find out that we agree on more than we disagree.
Well, and here's the thing is that and I'll be interested in going over the Democrat platform, presenting whatever platform the pubs last put in, because that's a pub thing. We don't, our platform is unless we see a real need to change the platform is the platform. We don't see a need for change for that. But what I am hoping for is that everybody wants to hang on to at least a two-party republic. That's what I hope for. Where again, okay, there's 82 million Dems. There's only 75 million pubs. Okay, but we respect each other. We're not just going to crush the 75 million to get our agenda through.
No. Problem is 75 is crushing themselves. They're dividing themselves between the Republicans.
I get that.
That's a problem.
Right. It is a problem, but at the same time, if you back a wounded dog into the corner, they're going to bite. That's a bad strategy. So we're a very divided country at this point in time. So I think Biden needs to do a lot more careful stepping than he's already doing. His executive orders have already trotted on that ground.
He's done exactly what he said he was going to do.
Okay, but at the same time, he's doing
the 80 million of us like that. He did what he said he was going to do. Well, and I'm really glad he was prepared. And he did. He started doing it on the very first day. Finished it in the first week.
But he's doing the exact same thing that Trump did. He's just
Trump wasn't prepared at all. He didn't even issue executive orders until a couple of weeks in. He had to have people right
because he didn't have to.
He didn't plan.
Trump implemented his agenda, in my estimation, without impunity, and I thought in a lot of ways more reckless than he should have implemented it. But that's how Republicans go forward. Republicans careful step this stuff. They don't for. I mean, name the last time the Republicans forced something. They just don't do that.
What do you mean? Like forcing forcing the Democrats not to be able to get a Supreme Court nomination under Obama? I guess they did.
Obama. No, that's a fairly common political play if you want to talk about the courts.
Okay.
What I'm talking about,
Amy Coney Barrett thing through at the last before the election.
You would have done the same. This is
normal. Well, will now. That's for sure. I would expect them to.
Anyway, if you want to blame anybody for that, you can blame Harry Reid for that.
Right. Get rid of the filibuster.
Had he not done that, then we wouldn't have Amy Coney Barrett. We probably wouldn't have any Supreme Court justices that were conservative right now.
Sure we would. You know what? I'm going to tell you. I don't care that we got her anyway. Because I don't think she's conservative. I think she's a judge. And she's going to vote. And she's going to vote as a judge. She's going to look at what's there. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, we don't have any liberal judges. Well, we do. We've got some judges that personally are liberal. But I still expect them to vote for the law. And vote for people's rights. Follow the Constitution.
Yeah, well, that's what we hope for. But that's the thing is the example I would give is the Senate was one vote away from completely abolishing the Affordable Care Act.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened?
John McCain.
So you'll never see a Democrat do that ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
I don't know. We may find out.
We might. Well, yeah. Well, you might. I say that. I don't know. I'm. I shouldn't be so cynical. You've got Manchin and Sinema.
You got Manchin there that says he won't get rid of the filibuster, and he's going to vote against all the other Dems. And who's the guy with Manchin on that? There's two of them actually. Can't remember her name.
You got Manchin and Sinema who have vowed to not abolish the filibuster. Yeah.
Right.
So again, I don't know. I'm trying not to make this, oh, poor us, poor me, our country's not going to go on. Amelia talks to me about this a lot. It's great. She loves politics. And she's like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Amelia, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get through this. We'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans do stuff to Democrats, and the Democrats turn around and do the same thing to the Republicans, and it's just this, just this go around. My concern, I think, like everybody else's, is I don't like the violence that's breaking out. I was disgusted by what happened that day at the Capitol. I mean, it was horrifying. I can't even put it into words.
But you up to it. I mean, they had the situation with Michigan, where they were going to kidnap the governor.
Yeah,
but crazies out there right now that are.
But at the same time, you've got left wing elements. I mean, even today that are going after that are rioting and have rioted throughout the summer, and so I just don't. I really. What's that?
I'm not thinking about going out and shooting anybody. But
I'm not either.
But
and I don't think the majority of Americans want to go down that route.
Yeah.
And so what we've got to demand from our public officials, and this is where, again, I would, I'd tell Senator Cruz straight to his face. This is not in keeping with where most Americans are. I think even the majority of us who voted for Trump think, hey, we want our elections to be legitimate, and we disagree with you on challenging them. And I think that needs to be that kind of sentiment needs to happen on both sides when something wrong is going on, like a junior representative from the House accusing a sitting senator of murder. That's bullshit.
Right.
We should call that shit out.
A junior representative she brings QAnon and Pizzagate.
Exactly.
And all those
call that person out.
How do people even get in Congress?
I don't even know.
I don't even have an idea.
Who knows? But those people should be called out.
Right. Then you got this Lauren Boebert that wants to wear her sidearm into the congressional chamber. She doesn't want to go through any metal detectors, and she wants to wear her sidearm.
Well, that doesn't.
I guess that's her right. That's her right, right?
Yeah. Well, as long as all the other members wear their sidearms, I think it should be fine.
Well, no, they don't have to wear their sidearms. It's not requirement that you have to. Her right that you can because of the Second Amendment.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the schools. If the school shooters all knew that all the teachers and administration in the school were armed with their sidearms, they'd be maybe a little less apt to start a school shooting. But hey, that's just my opinion.
We're students. Let's go ahead and have some students have them too.
Well,
some legal for 18-years to 18-years, so then we can have some students.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, the overwhelming majority of I think everybody should be armed. Hey, just carry your sidearm. I do.
Yeah.
If some, I think the overwhelming majority of people are good law-abiding citizens, and so when the bad citizens that aren't abiding by the law want to take their shot, give it a shot, because all of us law-abiding citizens have our sidearms on us. So good luck.
Okay. I still don't understand the whole thing. We got to get off here. We've been at it for a while. I'm just going to throw you something to think about since you brought. I still don't get why other countries don't have this gun problem like we do. Just don't understand it.
Because they have stricter laws.
Oh. But I mean, a lot of countries have guns. Canada, people can have guns. Even in Japan, people can have guns. You can have hunting weapons. All kinds of stuff. But they don't have all this crazy. And New Zealand, they did have that Christchurch shooter that they had last year, or whatever it was. But that's the only time they ever had that. That made a difference in their gun laws. After that,
so I don't know how.
I don't get it. Why we have that problem?
Yeah, well, maybe we have more crazy people here than we do than other parts of the world.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah. Maybe we're doing something.
Well, man. Well, I wouldn't. Yeah. Okay. So it's something to think about. But initially, I wouldn't attribute it to a certain nation's rules on firearms.
Okay.
So causation doesn't correlation doesn't necessarily necessitate, without being too redundant, causation. So in other words, if a country has very strict gun laws, and they have very low gun violence, well, okay, that's fantastic. But that doesn't necessarily mean that their very, very, very strict gun laws are what's preventing the gun violence. It could just be that their populace isn't prone to committing gun violence. And New Zealand, if somebody does decide that they want to commit gun violence, they're going to figure out a way to commit gun violence no matter what the laws are.
Sure, but they don't. That's the weird thing. I don't get it.
Well, I don't know.
New Zealand. It's a small country. I think they got 4 million people. It's really small population-wise. But we got 2 million in here in Cincinnati. We have shootings every day. Every single day. And New Zealand as a country.
Well, okay, so maybe the answer to that is not more strict gun laws, but better mental health care. Maybe we got a lot of crazies here.
Healthcare. That's what I like. I'm glad you broued that. That. Anyway,
I would be.
We're going down.
We didn't get to that. I would be 100% in favor of if somebody is if somebody's I don't know, caught out or however you want to put it, on being mentally ill, that we put that person into a situation where they're very well taken care of, government funded, 100%, no problem. You're not going to lose any money. You're not going to be homeless. You're not going to.
I don't want your help. I don't want your help. I'm a free man. I can refuse. I don't want your help. Go away.
Well, okay. Well, so right. So and so maybe we should think about that a little bit. That that's where we do restrict people's freedoms.
Gee. What do you say? What do you say? Say that again. Say that again. People's freedoms. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, if you're deemed to be a danger to yourself or others.
But who deems you? Who says you are? Who says you are? I'm not a problem. Okay. I don't bother anybody. I just get a lot of guns. It's okay.
Okay. That shouldn't be the issue, right? Yeah.
I got a neighbor that shoots at his own range. He's got his own range.
It's dicey. Well, but my whole point is the problem is not the guns.
The red flag is what I don't want to go down right now. We get to it.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, man. We're gonna get this done. Yeah. Good. We got a good streaming thing. If my internet won't disrupt next time, that's weird.
okay. That's okay. I'm gonna get it on there. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, but we got 2 good streams